Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. Pipe on the Patio with Onion. Coming to you from the Onion Patch. Tonight, I'm smoking my Yellow Bowl Bulldog. And in it, Bob's Chocolate Flake. Love this stuff. So I was watching the Seahawks-Vikings game, which ended about an hour ago, and what a game. That was pretty good. This was a good weekend for football. The Raiders were looking like the Raiders of old. Darren Waller reminds me of Dave Casper and Raymond Chester. He's just always there when they need him. Yeah, those guys I have some great memories of those old Raider football teams, boy. Dave Casper, Raymond Chester, Tom Keating, Ben Davidson. Phil Villapiano, Mike Ciani, Fred Biletnikoff, Cliff Branch. They had some fantastic teams back in the day. They had some fantastic teams. Their recent history hadn't been so great. Luckily, I was alive to see all the great Raider players. Daryle Lamonica, George Blanda, Warren Wells. Man. Warren Wells was something else, boy. You hardly ever hear about that guy, and if he hadn't got himself in trouble, could have well been a Hall of Famer. His yards per catch was astronomical. Those are some good old days. I remember the first game I ever saw was 1968. It was the Raiders and Jets in the playoffs. See who was going to go to the Super Bowl. And the Jets won that year. And then the Jets went on and won the Super Bowl. But it was a great game. And I was 1968, so I was almost 9. So I was 8 years old. I would have been 9 in that December. Man, that was a great team. Hewitt Dixon, Darryl LaMonica, Warren Wells. They had some great players. And not even to mention the defensive side of the ball. Willie Brown, Ben Davidson, Tom Keating, George Atkinson. Boy, those were some good teams back then. And they were badass. They were badass teams. Then they got Stabler. And Stabler was just, he was my guy. He was the guy I idolized, Kenny Stabler. I wanted to be Kenny Stabler. Even though I was right-handed, I tried to throw the football like Kenny Stabler. We even drank Jack Daniels like Kenny Stabler. Yeah, that didn't turn out so good. Stabler was something else. So, anyway, it's good to reminisce about the old days, you know. Remember your heroes, a lot of whom are gone now. But those were sports heroes. My true heroes were my Grandma Manion, my dad, my Grandpa Flanagan, Audie Murphy. Those were my real heroes. You know, there's football heroes, sports heroes. That's a whole different thing than your real heroes. It's like musical heroes. I have a lot of musical heroes. Muddy Waters, Freddie King, Albert King, Duane Allman, Eric Clapton, Robin Trower. You know, I mean, those are my musical heroes. But my real life heroes, the people who were my heroes in real life, that was my Grandma Manion, my Grandpa Flanagan, and my dad, and my Uncle David. Just talked to my Uncle David a couple weeks ago. He's the only one of my real heroes left. Then I had my baseball heroes, you know, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Juan Marichal. Catfish Hunter. And probably my greatest baseball hero was Ed Goodson, third baseman for the Giants, that I just absolutely thought was the greatest player in the history of baseball. Back in the early 70s, I'd argue with anybody. He's better than Brooks Robinson. I don't care what you say. Ed Goodson was my favorite baseball player, and nobody's even heard of him, but he was my baseball hero. I played third base. Ed Goodson was a third baseman. I still got his baseball card, and it's a treasure for me. I got Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Joe DiMaggio autographed baseballs, Mickey Mantle autographed baseball. But Ed Goodson's baseball card, that's something I will never part with. Just because he was my baseball hero as a kid growing up. But my grandma Manion, she was probably my greatest real life hero. My grandfather died very young. I never knew him. And my grandma moved across the country from the East Coast to Richmond, California, and raised 5 kids all on her own. My dad, my Aunt Sis, my Aunt Jane, my Aunt Gloria, and my Uncle David. She moved to the West Coast right after World War II. My dad got out of the Navy and talked her into moving across country. That was a big move. Big move back in those days. She bought a neat house. It was built in 1906. And she lived there up until the 90s. And they moved to Martinez, California. But that house was just filled with love. I mean, you went to their house and it was just laughter, just nothing but laughter in that house. The neighbors used to come visit and just hang out and laugh, and we'd all come up there. All my cousins were lived up there. We had moved away to San Pedro down in Los Angeles area, and we'd go back up there, and it was just a house built on love, and she loved unconditional. There was nothing you could do that would make her not love you. Nothing. There was nothing you could do. She was my true hero. Anyway, sorry, I just kind of got off on a tangent there. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. God bless y'all. I hope you have heroes in your life like I had heroes in my life, because they make life wonderful. And I hope my kids have heroes like I had heroes. I will talk to you guys later. Love y'all. God bless. Have a good night.